Good morning, everyone. And by morning, I mean afternoon, because it's the afternoon. Fun fact, I tried to record a couple videos the last 2 rides to work I've been on. And unfortunately, because I'm a dummy, I had the card full. Which I'm surprised, because I think I might have left the camera on or something, because I don't really remember filming that much. But I did have to charge it the other day, and then the SD card was full. So anywho, not a big deal, but we had to empty the old SD card. So now that we've done that, we can get back to regularly scheduled programming. So today we're going to talk about whether it's safer to ride a lot of miles, to ride a few miles a year. So most motorcyclists fall into one of 3 categories. Category 1 is people who ride, let's say, 0 to 2-ish thousand miles a year, only on weekends. I've definitely fit into that category in my life. Category 2 is people who ride maybe in a seasonal state, or just, choose to drive a car once in a while, and, they ride anywhere from 5 to 10,000 miles a year, give or take. They do some weekend trips, they do some commuting, they do some, maybe longer distance trips, whatever, right? Just a good blend of kind of all different types of riding. They get caught in some weather conditions here and there, and blah, blah, blah. I would say that's Cat 2. Category 3 is people who are just super die-hard, right? Ride freaking 365 days a year. Maybe they don't even own a car. And if they do own a car, they're taking it very sparingly, only if they need to carry something too big to fit on a bike. Like those kind of people, right? Really, really die-hard motorcyclists. So those are the 3 categories, in my opinion. Within that, I would say I'm solidly in Category 2 at the moment, and I was in Category 1 for parts of my life on and off, just depending on my situation. And, you can fall in and out of these categories at will, right? There's no definitive, these aren't hard numbers. I'm just kind of giving them a random assignment. So that's that. So a lot of people would say there's the 2 extremes, right? The Category 1 person is riding very infrequently, but more than likely very strategically picking how and when they ride. So good weather, good temperatures, probably more favorable traffic conditions and road conditions and stuff like that. The Category 2 person is not picking that stuff quite as diligently, and they're riding in some more maybe trafficked areas like I'm in now, but it's a very consistent route potentially if it's a commute, or they're just kind of used to a lot of different types of encounters, so it's not a surprise to them. And then Category 3, they've done it all, right? But they're also exposing themselves to it all. So let's break these down. We'll take the 2 extremes first. So if you are a Category 3 person, you are riding in the rain presumably, and even if you're not riding in the rain, if you live in a more humid environment or desert environment, you're riding in less than ideal scenarios because you're riding all year long. Some cold, some super hot. Maybe you're just like in a bad mood, or you're tired, but you're still riding because, again, maybe you only own a bike. So you're using that bike as much as any normal person would use their car, just right whenever. And so you're exposing yourself to all of those kind of tangential risks that come along with riding a motorcycle beyond the physical experience of riding the motorcycle. However, by doing that, you're absolutely gaining a skill set, unlike anyone else, right? You are on that thing so much. If you're doing your due diligence, you're getting better and better at riding every year that goes by. So that definitely has some value. The other extreme is the 0 to 2,000 mile a year, weekend warrior, if you will. And that's, you're not getting that level of experience and skill, but you're also not putting yourself in a lot of potentially hazardous situations, maybe. So you're mitigating your risk through frequency of the activity. I think it's a fair argument to say, I thought that guy was coming in, speaking of dangerous scenarios, I think it's fair to say if you rode a motorcycle 4 times in your life on a backcountry road, 20 miles each, right? I think it's hard to argue that wouldn't be safer than riding your motorcycle 4,000 times or 40,000 times on all different kinds of roads. Speaking of roads, there's a road hazard here. Sorry guys, got cut off on a phone call there. So what were we saying here? So it's a difference between exposing yourself to quantity of hazard, right? You're very low quantity of hazard if you don't ride a lot, but then your ability to negotiate said hazards potentially goes down, right? Now, if you're just particularly gifted at riding a motorcycle, then maybe it's not low enough to matter. But if you're just kind of an average person, you know, you're gonna gain skill by riding more and more often, more frequently. So if something bad does happen in front of you, you can potentially dodge it and you know, get yourself out of harm's way. So I don't know. It becomes really difficult to determine what's actually safer on a per mile basis and a per time basis, per year basis. On a per mile basis, you're definitely safer if you ride a lot, I think, no doubt. But on a per year basis, that's where it's kind of tricky. I would say, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to have data to really prove this or disprove it. But if I had to use my gut and pick one, this is going to sound cliche, but hold on, everyone. I'm going too fast. There we go. That was a terrible set. I don't know. I just didn't really set those corners up well. I'm going to do the thing that's going to surprise nobody and pick the Goldilocks zone. And here's why. I think there are scenarios on a motorcycle that if you ride year-round, all the time, any condition, especially in a state like New York where we have a really dynamic climate. I mean, you really effectively can't ride in the winter, but whatever. Late into fall or late spring. I don't know. I think there's inherent hazards that are great enough, like heavy rain and stuff like that. It's a great enough hazard where you're disproportionately unsafe on a bike compared to a car or not being out at all. And it's a margin that you can't overcome with any amount of skill. I don't think so. I truly think the safest scenario is probably somewhere right between the weekend warrior and the full-blown kind of commuter heavy rider, the middle zone, the category 2. So it's between category 1 and 2, leaning toward 2. And the reason I say that is because I just think that I don't know. I think that the riding experience is huge. I think having big miles on your bikes, or bikes in general, not big miles necessarily, but just good solid consistency, right, is just super beneficial. It just keeps your skills sharp. And when something bad inevitably happens, because either way something bad will happen, right, it just gives you the tools in your toolbox to deal with it. And then at the end of the day, guys, no matter who you are and how you ride and whatever, sometimes something happens that you just can't avoid, and that sucks, right? When you watch any of these motorcycle crash videos and all that kind of thing, and you find someone who just absolutely is in an unavoidable accident, man, that's a crappy feeling, because you know deep down in your heart, it's like, if I was there, I'd be the one who's dead, and it's just like, it's not a great feeling, but you got to accept that. And then the same thing holds true with a car, right? I mean, there are times where you'll be run into by a car, or in a car, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you got to consider that too. It's not like your car is a magic safety box either. So you gotta just do whatever works for you as far as how and when you ride, and the consistency with which you ride. And if you do that, you'll be pretty well off, I think. Yeah, so I don't know. That's my analysis on it. I think it's like any other activity in life, moderation, right? If you do it a healthy amount, right? And that's going to differ for people too. This isn't a cut and dry rule. If you do it a healthy amount in moderation for your skill set and your desire and your level of risk tolerance, then you'll be pretty well off with it. So on that note, guys, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.